Most people believe the Mona Lisa was always the most famous painting in the world.
It wasn't. In fact, before 1911, it was just another admired Renaissance portrait hanging quietly inside the Louvre in Paris. Art experts respected it.
Scholars studied it. But the average person, most had never heard of it. What changed everything was not genius.
It was a crime.
The painting itself was created by Leonardo da Vinci in the early 1500s. It was technically brilliant subtle shading, mysterious expression, the illusion of life. But it shared the museum with thousands of other masterpieces.
Then, on August 21, 1911, the Mona Lisa disappeared. At first nobody noticed.
The Louvre was closed that Monday. A man named Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian handyman who had once worked at the museum, hid inside a storage closet overnight. The next morning, dressed in a white worker's smock, he simply walked out carrying the painting under his coat. No alarms, no dramatic chase. No one stopped him. For more than 24 hours, the museum didn't even realize the painting was gone. When the theft was finally discovered, panic exploded. Newspapers across Europe and America ran headlines about the missing masterpiece. Crowds gathered at the Louvre not to see the painting, but to stare at the empty space where it had once hung. Ironically, the blank wall became an attraction. The French police launched an enormous investigation. Borders were watched. Ships were inspected. Suspects were questioned. Even famous artists were dragged into suspicion. For a brief moment, the art world felt like a crime thriller. But here is the twist. The thief was not a criminal mastermind. Peruggia believed he was a patriot. He claimed the painting rightfully belonged in Italy, arguing that Napoleon had stolen it. In reality, Leonardo had taken the painting to France himself centuries earlier. It had been legally acquired. But Peruggia was convinced he was correcting history. For 2 years, the Mona Lisa sat hidden in his small apartment in Paris. 2 years. No underground auction. No wealthy collector. No secret sale. Just a stolen masterpiece under a bed. In 1913, Peruggia attempted to sell it to an art dealer in Florence. The dealer immediately alerted authorities. The painting was recovered undamaged. Peruggia was arrested and, surprisingly, treated by many Italians as a misguided hero rather than a villain. But by the time the Mona Lisa returned to the Louvre, something had changed. The theft had turned the painting into a global celebrity. Newspapers had printed its image everywhere. Millions who had never cared about Renaissance art suddenly knew her face. The mystery, the crime, the drama, it all fused into legend. The Mona Lisa didn't become famous because of her smile. She became famous because she vanished. And this reveals something uncomfortable about history. Fame is often not about quality alone. It is about story. There are technically superior paintings. There are grander works, larger masterpieces. But none carry the same narrative power. A genius painted her. A thief stole her. The world obsessed over her. And obsession is what creates immortality. Today, visitors line up for hours at the Louvre to take a photo, often spending only seconds actually looking at the painting. Many leave surprised at how small it is. But the myth surrounding it is enormous. The Mona Lisa is not just art, it is the product of Renaissance brilliance, modern media, nationalism, crime, and human curiosity. Without the theft, she might still be admired. But she would not be legendary. If this story surprised you, imagine how many others have been misunderstood. Subscribe to the History Vault and join a growing community that looks beyond the textbook version of history. New documentaries every week. History is deeper than it looks.